innovation that excites.
Hard to believe it is the season finale at Arrowhead, and the playoffs are on the line. Chiefs and Chargers underway at noon, and we're counting it down to kickoff. Game day starts now.
This is the KCTV 5 Price Chopper Game Day Show.
Good morning and welcome to the final Price Chopper Game Day show of the regular season and of 2014, the calendar year. I'm your host, Michael Coleman. As always, good to be alongside the big guy here, former Chief Rich Baldinger. Baldy, how you doing this morning?
Glad to have you back. Did you have a good Christmas?
I had a great Christmas. I had a fun Christmas. I had a filling Christmas.
Yeah, I noticed that when you were walking down the steps. I can't say anything either, Michael. I rolled down, too. Had a great time of the year. Wish it would be turned, but maybe a chance she's come away with the victory. Maybe there's something in our stocking for us.
Again today, kickoff at Arrowhead is less than 2 hours away. Chiefs and Chargers, they get underway at noon right here on KCTV 5. But the Chiefs will take the field without number 11, Alex Smith. It was discovered late this week that Smith has a lacerated spleen after a hit he took last week against Pittsburgh. Backup Chase Daniel will get the start today. Now, a lot of pressure on Daniel since today's game at Arrowhead has huge playoff implications. Right now, the Chargers are in line for that second wild card spot. If the Chiefs beat them, they're one step closer, but Baldy, they still have two teams ahead of them. So Chiefs fans, today, you are also rooting for the Browns and Jaguars. Cleveland needs to beat Baltimore on the road, and the Texans need to follow Jacksonville at home in order for the Chiefs to earn their second straight trip to the playoffs. It shouldn't be this hard, Baldy. It's going to be a very interesting day.
Yeah, it is, but I don't see that's the tough part. I can see maybe the Chiefs pulling something out here today. Chase Daniels coming in, players are motivated to get something done, but the debacle in Cleveland with the Johnny Manziel, and I just don't see Baltimore losing to them. And then, of course, Houston and Jacksonville. And you look at Jacksonville and that offense, giving up 66 sacks on the year. Wow.
Well, that one sack last week was extra pivotal. We'll talk about that shortly. Now, it's important to today's crucial season finale at Arrowhead. We've got some wear and tear after 15 games. As we mentioned, Alex Smith is out. So is Phillip Gaines. Dwayne Bowe, Jamal Charles, the heart of your offense, are questionable. Now, we have a hard-working crew at Arrowhead. These guys are not questionable. Talking about joining Brad Fanning live on the field. Good Sunday morning to you, Brad. What you got?
Well, good morning, fellas. Hope you're nice and toasty back in the studio. A little bit chilly here, but no big deal, really. The tarp came off the field about 9:15 or so. It's awfully frosty. You know, they got the other side of your scraper that you have in your car. It's like the brush side. They were dragging that across the field, so I think everything should be fine. It's going to be a gorgeous day for football here at Arrowhead. Now, listen, it's going to be really tough for the Chiefs to get into the playoffs. We know that. They got to win. They need some help. But this Alex Smith thing with a lacerated spleen this week really got me thinking about, two of the bigger storylines of the season, why the Chiefs have gone from 7-3 to 8-7 and potentially 8-8. Two things to me, the injuries and the illness to this team and the offensive line. But I want to start with the injuries and the illness to this Kansas City Chiefs team here in 2014. Let's start with Derek Johnson, of course. Week 1 against the Titans. You've got DJ and you got Mike DeVito both going down with ruptured Achilles tendons injuries, and that wasn't the only time that we lost guys to Achilles tendons injuries this year. We lost Joe McKnight. So you got 3 ruptured Achilles. McKnight, it happened to him after he had his best game of his career taking on the Dolphins. So 3 guys go down with ruptured Achilles tendons. You got Mike Catapano, a special teamer and defensive player that had some sort of a mystery virus, had to have surgery. He was out the entire season, never played it down. Of course, the Eric Berry thing where he had lymphoma, we lost him. And then again this week, the lacerated spleen by Alex Smith. So I think she's been a really, really tough year injury and illness-wise for the Chiefs. Now, the other storyline to me is the offensive line, and this is borderline negligent, in my opinion. That's how bad this offensive line has been. I'm surprised it took until last week to get Alex Smith knocked out of the football game, because this offensive line's been atrocious this year. Smith's been sacked 45 times. He's been hit more than 70 times this year. He's been sacked 45 times, guys. I'm going to say that again. That's third most in the National Football League, behind Jacksonville's Blake Bortles and San Francisco's Colin Kaepernick. So, I mean, the offensive line play has been atrocious. The injuries have come back to bite them, and it's just been a really, really, really difficult year for this Chiefs team. So, as I'm thinking about this, guys, I'm thinking, the offensive line play has been so bad. And I actually got angry when I heard that Alex had a lacerated spleen, but it also made me think about something, and I can't wait to get your take on this. If the line play has been so bad, and the Chiefs have suffered so many significant injuries and had some fluke illnesses to their team this year, have they actually overachieved to get to this point at 8-7? So we've almost got our Christmas miracle. Just the fact that the Chiefs are 8-7 right now and still have a shot to get in the playoffs in the final week of the regular season. What do you think?
Well, let's face it, guys. All season long, we've talked about how the offensive line was not up to par at all. I mean, you have to give Andy Reid some credit doing it with smoke and mirrors to win even 8 games. But let's face it, when you lose your quarterback, who you shelled money out to, and he's out of the game, the final season finale because of a lacerated spleen, like you said, Brad, it's surprised he didn't get hurt earlier in the season.
Well, Brad, the frustrating thing about this is I want to credit Andy Reid for what he's done in terms of scheming, getting guys on the field, the different formations, the 3 tight end formations, the split backfield with Anthony Thomas, Jamal Charles. You look at that. But then on the other side of things, why isn't Donald Stevenson given a chance? He made a mistake early in the year. That's a great question. But why is he not back on the field? That is your best offensive tackle. Why isn't he put him in at guard? What about Cush? Guy, he hasn't been activated. Why not even give him a chance at the guard? The inside 3 have been atrocious for the Kansas City Chiefs. And believe me, when you take a step further, look at the San Diego Chargers. Their problems in their offensive line this year, they've been now on their 5th starting center. It's been a disaster, and that's where problems have been formed. So for the Chiefs, I don't understand it. Yes, some good things for the coaches, but there are some questions they need to ask.
And here's the thing, too, guys, and this thing goes straight up to the front office, in my opinion, on this. I'm not going to sit there and bang on Ryan Harris and Mike McGlynn and Lincoln Bach and some of these other guys that probably shouldn't even be playing right now. I mean, this is the offensive line that was provided, to Andy Reid and his coaching staff to come out here and play, and it's been awful. Think about this. You gave Alex Smith, 4 years and $68 million in extension. You gave Jamal Charles two more years and $18 more million, and these are the guys you're putting on the football field for him. So again, part of me is extremely angry that that's the offensive line you've got, and the guy you just gave $68 million to has a lacerated spleen. But then the other part of me is like, how in the heck do we even get to this point to be able to hang around and have a slim shot of the playoffs in the final week of the season?
Well, let's give credit and kudos to Alex Smith. Everybody talks about Alex Smith being a game manager, right? But look how many sacks, and you talk quarterback hits. That doesn't even count the amount of times he's had to scramble for his life, but yet is one of the best in the National Football League for not turning over the football. So that's why it's even more frustrating, Brad, that, hey, this is something we have to go get players right now. In fact, the left tackle for the San Diego Chargers, King Dunlap, who I think should be in the Pro Bowl this year, is a free agent. That's a guy the Chiefs need to go get right now in the offseason. They need to sign guys in that can play, because Alex Smith going in his 3rd year, we got to give this guy a chance. We still don't really know what Alex Smith is in terms of throwing the football. For 2 years in a row now, he's basically been running for his life, Brad.
Well,
and one more quick point, guys, too. Let me make this quick point, guys. Listen, you hear a lot of fans criticize Alex Smith and the Chiefs for not throwing the football down the field. Guess what happened? What kind of play it was when he lacerated his spleen? They were throwing the football down the field. I mean, there's a reason the Chiefs don't throw the football down the field. It's not safe. It's just not.
Well, thank you very much, Brad. And you're right. It is not safe. And he's gotten a lot of criticism for not doing what folks want him to do. Brad, we'll check back in with you. He's got a gift for you, by the way. We'll talk to you more about that later.